Good morning, everybody. This is Mark McNeese.
And Rick Rose. I am in Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yes, we're both in Shreveport today, and we're doing the cafes right here. We're actually in the Cafe Blab is a real place. It's a virtual cafe, but today it's a real cafe. It's today Twine, Rick's Restaurant Twine in Shreveport is serving as the cafe.
And I want to do this because it still looks like our normal setup's a split screen
It
on
does.
Skype. Look,
It does. Look.
I broke. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Rick.
Did you design this so we'd have like the split with the colors on the wall?
We did. It's amazing.
Bam!
It's
Look.
amazing.
Hi.
So, anyways, Frank and I briefly, my husband Frank and I came here to visit Rick. I've been saying I was going to come here ever since he's lived here.
5 years.
We finally made it. Travel day from hell yesterday, but we got here and I'm digging it. And Frank and I are gonna do some casinos and have some fun and explore Shreveport a little bit.
Even under the gray skies, it feels more like when you look outside, it feels more like Seattle. But it's been cold everywhere, and all my friends are like, they're escaping the cold to come here. Well, they didn't do so well because, well, today's a little warmer, but when you flew in yesterday,
Well, it's warmer, and I personally like rain. I like rain a lot. So the fact that we're not, we've got an audience outside, just like on the Today
Show. Oh my God, I'm Katie Curry.
Like on the Today Show, when they come up to the
wave,
window
hey
and we have an audience. This is
but we don't have a second camera to show that. Oh my God, that was so gay what I just did.
It was very gay.
This isn't our gay show.
Really gay.
We do have a gay show.
We're aged to perfection.
It's an LGBTQIA friendly show.
Yes, and it's part of the LGBT senior sphere, which is part of my empire. Mm-hmm. And we had 57,000 listens in 2013. Our top show was 4,093. So it's called Age to Perfection. We're having our what do we call her? The caterer, the production assistant.
Yeah, our PA today,
Our
Savannah, will be serving
Savannah
us.
is bringing coffee in here.
And Mark, of course, folks, and Savannah, you need to know, didn't want to start without his cup of coffee. He's one of those guys. And I said, that's okay, Savannah will serve you. He never heard pour over coffee.
Really? It's
No,
amazing.
I don't know
Pour over coffee's great. Well, come behind us.
Oh,
when
I do
when
know
you're done
what it
serving.
is.
Oh, you do? What do you think?
No,
it is?
it's the thing where you squeeze it.
No. That would be squeeze coffee. This is pour over coffee. You know what you do with pour over coffee?
No, tell.
Pour it over. Savannah, come join us here. Come behind our heads. Savannah was on TV with me on New Year's Eve, by the way, the day I couldn't do the thing, pouring cocktails. This is Savannah, folks.
This is Savannah. She had a city named after her.
She did. Now tell what pour over coffee is for folks that don't know, because it's a new trend right now.
The pour over coffee is basically the beans ground up, and then you pour the hot water over it, so it makes like an instant coffee, but it's much more amazing, and it gives you the total caffeine effect.
How do you make sure that there's no like little bits of beans in it?
It's filtered. You still stick it in a little thing like this. It's like, hey, look how cute that is, guys. And you got wings. Anyways, that's Savannah, folks. Savannah, thanks for our coffee. I'm having green tea, though. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we'll be in there to have dinner or lunch in a little bit.
Yes.
Thank you.
Now, politics, Rick. We got to cover
We're going to
politics.
talk politics. Well, I got to jump in first of all, because this kind of relates to politics. And it relates to Shreveport. It made national news yesterday. It was a story we've been following since last week when the event happened. Of course, you know how you always talk about headlines being sensational anymore. Any simple headline, because it's a tragic story. A 64-year-old great-grandmother had her home broken into before Christmas here in Shreveport. She went out, bought herself a gun. The same perpetrator broke into the home. She put the gun to him and warned him to back off. Ended up shooting the guy in the presence of her daughter and granddaughter. The great-granddaughter wasn't there. The guy dies, and she's not being charged. I have feelings on it on both fronts, but she is extremely apologetic and extremely, not apologetic, but she just feels awful about the circumstances. Did you hear the story?
I haven't heard this story, and so it's hard for me to be objective, but I tend to think that she was justified. There have been these shootings where I think it's outrageous, especially the ones where you had two. There was a young black woman and another black man who had car accidents,
right.
And they're stumbling around looking for help, and they get shot going up on somebody's porch. That's insane to me and wrong. But here you've got an old lady and somebody comes into her home.
She's protecting her domicile and her children.
It doesn't bother me. I'm okay with that. Now, this is gun country, and as I was going into Rick's apartment this morning after going out to move the car, I thought, this is not a territory where I want to put my key in the wrong door.
Really?
But not just.
I understand. I don't take it personally,
but it's a regional thing, and I think if I accidentally go to the wrong house here, am I going to get shot because I was disoriented.
That's a
It
good
happens.
point. It does, and you are bringing a point for those that don't know where Shreveport. I think we said Louisiana. Did you say Louisiana?
Louisiana.
We're in the south, and if this is Louisiana, New Orleans is down here. We're up here closer to the Dallas side of things, 3 hours from Dallas. And on a flight, actually, here's the interesting thing. If you drove a Mark, you would have been here in 3 hours. But since you flew it, you got here in 8 hours because you had a 4-hour way over and all that shit.
But it's not just Louisiana. It's there are a lot of states, gun states.
Yeah, but we're also, what I was going to say, though, in Shreveport, which is in Louisiana, there's that, but there's also, we live in a gentrifying neighborhood. Twan is in a gentrified neighborhood. And whenever you have those types of places, Mark, I will tell you, if you pulled up here 2 years ago, this corner, you would be hearing, God, I sound profiling, but you would be hearing booming music, and you would see some unscrupulous characters, because this building actually had what they call an in-house prison in it. People that wear ankle things, and then, to be quite blunt, we had like a little fire that related to that, and those folks were moved out of the building. I got to be cautious of what I say there because I don't know all the circumstances, but we cleaned up the corner. But yeah, I agree. I mean, here's my feeling about what happened. I think she was totally justified, but a life is a life. This young man, you know, there's a whole thing we get into about prison rehabilitation, and your guy from New Jersey, the new senator, is going to be working on a lot of prison reform in his time there. My little boy that I want to run for president, but won't win because we've been talking about, will we ever see another black president again?
Jindal?
No, the guy out there, the hot-looking
Cory Booker.
gay guy.
Yeah, never mind. That's another conversation.
Yeah, that's a whole other conversation. But my point is, I just don't like guns, period. And I think if we didn't have guns, things might be a lot easier. Here's the weird thing, if you read this story, guys. The young man had a gun, and she had a gun, and the point that he asked her to open the safe, and here's the tragedy of it, as often goes the case, there was $65 in the safe. That's all she had. Sat on two fronts, you know, that she was going to lose everything she had, and that's all a life was taken over. But the minute he put down one hand from the gun to open the safe is when she took the opportunity to pull the gun and shoot him at that point. But let's move on, because the subject does make me sad.
It was very detailed, very detailed. Because we're keeping this. We're not going over 15 minutes today. What did I want to bring?
Politics.
Well, Travel Day from Hell, and I was reading. I'm just adjusting. I'm not.
I saw that, but the camera wasn't down there, folks. I wasn't like checking. That's a different show. So.
Obamacare. I was reading, and I think this is so true. Affordable Care Act. It's gonna Obamacare. So it's really sad to me that states like Louisiana and Mississippi, and lots of them, not just southern states, all of the states that are Republican run, that have done everything they can to make the law fail, are going to end up with citizens who have really shitty health care compared to the states
that's true.
like California, New York, New Jersey, Kentucky for that matter, where they implemented the law, they assisted it, they did everything they could to help their citizens. We're going to end up in a country where you have, you know, a bunch of states where people have really good health care and access to it, and a bunch of states where they have been thwarted, not because the law is flawed, but that's what they're going to tell you. That's what the Republicans are going to keep telling you in these states. Oh, Obamacare is a disaster. Well, it's a disaster in Mississippi and Alabama because you made it a fucking disaster. It's not a disaster in New York, and it's not a disaster in California. And Democrats really need to get on the ball and get that message out there.
Well, they do. As we're heading into 2016 elections, it seems earlier and earlier and closer. You are going to have challenges. I was telling Mark earlier when I was taking Mark and Frank around for a ride in our neighborhood, our beautiful neighborhood that you're most comfortable in.
I am. I'm totally.
I know you are. I'm kind of
was
just ribbing you. How do you think I feel in New York sometimes? The Third Act.
Well, that's true. You know, he's right. People come to New York and they think,
and you're
I'm going to get mugged and all this other stuff. It's not going to happen. So
when I've lived there, I know, but I'm just saying that they're, you know what.
Well, I'm the same way. I go to a new area. Frank and I were lost. I'm not going to take time on this, but we kept circling in this one little area.
Yeah, I know.
I can't see at night, so I can't read the street signs, and I'm going like, I'm flipping out, and of course then Frank is flipping out because I'm flipping out.
And I'm doing Zan on the other line.
Found us.
So as I took you around this neighborhood, and there are some beautiful things in this neighborhood too, as you know, but I was showing the guys and telling Mark that there was an interview this week with McCain talking about who his targets would be to run against Hillary. You know, it's out there that, you know, apparently she's running. She hasn't announced yet. Raised $3 million on her website or whatever, or Citizens for Hillary. But anyway, one of the candidates they're talking about, of course, is Chris Christie, although he's going through a lot of his own shit with the bridge issue right now. But also Bobby Jindal. But I think you're right, Mark. What's going to happen is
Tattoos, you didn't know, did you?
Oh, God,
my
there's so
fans.
much.
I got a bunch of them.
Oh, can I show that I have an outing on
No,
any?
no.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Anyway,
You gotta move.
so my point is this: that I think that when it gets down to it, there's going to be issues of Jindal's race. I think they'll come into play, but also issues of he is a Republican in a state that didn't back it. So my point is this: between now and the time we pull that ballot or push the ballot or whatever we have to do, or don't quite hit the Chad like we're supposed to hit the Chad, so please hit the Chad hard this year. I think what you're going to find is they're at risk. Because the success of Obamacare and the success of immigration and the success of his new plans, he's looking at a lot of green issues right now, they're gonna weigh out heavily in the next couple of years as we decide who's gonna lead our country in 2016. And I believe with you that Jindal will be on the side of failure, partly for what you're stating. You know, that he was in a state that turned down good health care. In a state, Mark might have pointed out, that really does need some healthy health care. We are a poverty, high on the poverty list, high on the ballot education list.
Well, and not only that, and I said this in the car because I just believe in being truthful and honest what I think. I think that I don't care what anybody says because there's a lot of denial in this country. There are a lot of people who have a problem with having a black man in the White House. And I said in the car, they're not putting an Indian in the White House. I don't care how down homey he is. Bobby Jindal, maybe he's in denial, but this country's not putting an Indian in the White House. That's just the way. Now, my opinion, prove me wrong. I mean, I don't want him in the White House. I'd love to be proved wrong. I don't think it's good.
I think a network might prove you wrong because it does make for a good sitcom. I mean, he did choose his name Bobby. For those that don't know, you know how he chose the name Bobby, right? It wasn't his birth name. He chose the name Bobby because he loved Bobby on the Brady Bunch.
Oh, but that's so nice.
No, it's true. Did you know that?
I like that. Now listen, Rick.
It's the truth. Look it up. Google it.
I'm going. We're at the 11-minute mark.
But I got to talk about Google.
Oh yeah, and then we're gonna wrap. We're gonna plug whatever, and we're gonna say, if you really like our chemistry, a lot of people do. 57,000.
This is a telethon. We need your support.
Somebody give us a gig. From Sirius XM, somebody say, you guys are really good together. You need to be on satellite radio because we're up for it.
And we're ready to play. Yeah, well that's true. And to help us to that front, the more people that see this, the more you go. Mark had a viral video, 1.8. Many of you have seen it.
1.8 million.
Go down on your YouTube thing there and find it.
million.
It was The Life of the Cubicle Part 2.
Okay.
Part 1 wasn't as successful. Sorry, Mark. It just wasn't.
Well, no, I deleted it because I was
okay.
drinking.
Oh. That might make for fun. Do you still have it somewhere?
No.
Anyway, the point is share this with folks. Put it on your Facebook page. Let people see it because it might be one of those people that see it. I know it's self-indulgent, but we enjoy what we're doing, and I do think we have some good things to talk about. Caution, guys. Google, if you have a Gmail account, you might have received the email where it's telling you that they've integrated Google Plus now. So in a nutshell, if you haven't seen the email, they promise they'll send all Google, Gmail account holders this thing, and I got it. Here's the deal. They're going to allow you when you're constructing an email, and I'm writing something to Mark about Bobby Jindal, they're going to pull all these plus people that I don't even know and allow me to add them to that email. Why the fuck do they care what I'm writing about tomorrow?
It's insane.
And people are going to do it though, and it's obviously like junk mail, spam kind of stuff. Hey, so anyway, it's insane. Caution, guys, if you have it. Now they will in this tell you a way to click it off, so you don't have this issue.
But they like all of these social media services, a lot of this stuff, they put the burden on you to
have
stop
to figure out how to do it
from invading your privacy, and it is what it is. It's horrible. So
well, we love YouTube. We love YouTube.
YouTube is, although
it is
I got to be careful with this. Google AdSense. I said this. They cut me off 3 years ago because Frank, who my partner, used to go on and click on the little Google ads on my little crappy blog that I had on Blogger, and so Google axed my account 3 years ago. I'm not on Blogger anymore. It's a shit platform. I do my own thing. Quite a bit. But anyways, so I appeal it. Say, listen, it's been 3 years. I wanted to monetize my viral video.
And you should have. So people might be deceived. They think Mark had 1.8 million hits that he's making. People make thousands of dollars.
You get nothing.
Well, you can. You can, but then.
But anyways, the end of the story is they denied my appeal. So you know what? No ads on my videos. I personally think people don't want ads on their videos. So we're going to spare you that. We're not going to do that at Cafe.
Hey, but
Blog.
I looked at it recently. There was an opening ad. It had on yours.
On one of these clips?
Not ours. No. You guys are protecting. But your $1.8 million.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's because Full Screen. We were running out of
gotcha.
time. Full Screen reached out to me and said, "Hey, you want to make some money?" I paid $100. I'm gonna be honest, they paid me $100. I don't think I'm ever gonna get anything else. But that's.
You could have been making thousands.
I
know, not to
the
be
point
big.
is, there are other services to hook up with, but at this point, we're not gonna.
And our point is, we're not here for that reason. We're just here to
Right,
blab.
it's not about making